She wouldn't sell it. One box, one dusty, beat-up camera. She had tables full of junk. But when I asked about that one item, she changed. Said it wasn't for sale. Said I needed to leave it alone. I should have listened. Because what I took home that day didn't just belong to her. It had already been inside my house. It was a Saturday. One of those neighborhood-wide yard sales where half the town throws their stuff on the lawn. I was killing time, nothing serious, looking for vintage electronics or old tools. That's when I saw it. A folding table near the edge of the property next to a cracked driveway. The seller was an older woman. Quiet. Wearing dark sunglasses and a blue hoodie, even though it was 85 degrees out. I scanned the table. Watches, books, kitchenware, a few toys, and tucked under the table. A dusty camera case. It was old school and had worn leather straps, vintage metal latches. It looked real, like World War II era. I picked it up. "Don't touch that," she yelled. I froze. "Oh, sorry. Is it not for sale?" She didn't answer at first. Then she said, "That's not meant to be out here. Put it back." I did, but the look in her eyes stuck with me. Not anger, not fear, guilt. I came back hours later. She was gone. The table still there. Unsold junk still laid out. The camera case still under the table. I glanced around. No one nearby. No car in the driveway. Just a yellow sticky note taped to the porch. "Be right back." I hesitated. Then I grabbed the case and walked. Not proud of it. But something about the way she reacted made me need to know what was inside. I got home and opened the case in my garage. Inside, a small rusted film camera. A few loose rolls of undeveloped film. A crumpled note, and a faint smell of damp wood and old leather. The note read, "Do not develop, already seen, already followed." What the hell did that mean? Curiosity 1. I took the rolls to a local photo lab that still did analog processing. The next day, I picked them up. Black and white, grainy, eerie in tone. But it wasn't the style that unsettled me. It was the content. The first roll, photos of a house, same angle, over and over, taken from across the street through a zoom lens. The second roll, photos taken from inside a house, of people sleeping, on a couch, in bed, a child on the floor with toys, always from a corner or hallway. The third roll, they were of me. I flipped through the shots in disbelief. Me walking to my car. Me at the grocery store. Me asleep on my couch. All taken from outside a window, or worse, from inside. One shot was dated 2 days ago. I was in my bedroom, lying face down. That's when I realized something. The angle of the shot, it could have only been taken from inside my closet. I rushed upstairs, opened the closet. Nothing. But the back wall looked different. I tapped it. Hollow. I peeled back the thin paneling. A crawl space. Inside, empty fast food wrappers, a stained pillow, and a small black notebook. I opened it. First page. My name. Second page. A list of my routines. Wake time, work hours, gym days, grocery habits. And at the bottom, new subject acquired, took the camera, repeating pattern confirmed. I drove back to the yard sale. It was packed up, table gone, no note, no sign she ever existed. I asked neighbors. They told me the woman didn't live there. The house was abandoned, had been for months. Some said it used to belong to a photographer who went missing in the 90s. No family, no will. House fell into foreclosure. Whoever was out there that day. She was never supposed to be. That night, I couldn't sleep. I reviewed the photo scans, zoomed into the reflections in the windows. In one shot of me sleeping, I saw it clearly. A faint reflection behind the lens. Someone holding the camera, wearing a hoodie and sunglasses. There was one undeveloped strip I hadn't looked at. It was labeled Final Exposure for him. One frame, a single shot of me, taken from inside my bedroom last night. I looked closely. I was asleep in the photo. But on my nightstand was a detail that stopped my heart. My phone screen, unlocked, camera app open, recording. And in the bottom corner, a face, half visible, watching me. The next morning, a cardboard box was waiting at my door. No label, no tape, no name. Inside, just one thing: the camera and one fresh roll of film, labeled Round 2. Some people collect old books, others collect records, but someone out there collects people, their routines, their photos, their homes. And the only warning you'll get might be a camera that was never supposed to be for sale. Every table had junk. Jars for $1, toys for 50 cents, clothes practically free, except for one thing: a rusty metal locker, sealed shut with a handwritten tag. $10,000, firm. I asked what was inside. The old man just smiled. If you're asking, it's not for you. It was your typical neighborhood yard sale. Plastic bins, card tables sagging with old books, VHS tapes, worn-out tools. Everything dirt cheap, literally pennies. But that locker sat by itself at the far end of the driveway. 6 feet tall, rusty red paint flaking off. 2 giant padlocks. No markings, no brand. Just that cardboard tag, $10,000. I couldn't help myself. I asked the old man running the sale, "Is this some kind of joke?" He looked me straight in the eye. "Not a joke. You wouldn't understand." I walked away, but I kept glancing back. Who brings a $10,000 item to a yard sale where everything else costs spare change? A few other people asked about it. Each time the man gave the same response: "Not for you." No one touched it. No one even tried. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. I came back that afternoon. The crowd had thinned. The locker was still there. I tried again. "Seriously, what's inside?" "Why so expensive?" The man chuckled softly. I don't sell it to people who ask questions. That answer, it got under my skin. It wasn't about money. It was about control. He was daring me, and I took the bait. I pulled out my phone, transferred $10,000 to his account on the spot. He didn't even flinch. Handed me 2 keys without a word. No receipt, no handshake, just nodded once. It's yours now. It barely fit in my truck. I hauled it home, dragged it into my garage, and stared at it for an hour. There were no sounds inside, no smell, no rattling when I moved it. I finally unlocked the first padlock, then the second. The doors groaned as I pulled them open. Inside was a sealed briefcase, old, dusty, worn, a small combination lock on the front. Taped to it was a note. You already know the code. I stared at it. I didn't. But when I started turning the dial, my fingers moved instinctively. 4107. The lock popped open. I don't know how I knew that code. I just did. Inside the briefcase were 3 things. 1, a thick manila folder. 2, a cassette recorder. 3, a single Polaroid photograph. The photo made my stomach drop. It was me, not recent. A photo of me at around 10 years old. At a playground I barely remembered, standing next to a man whose face was scratched out. The label on the bottom corner read, "Selection confirmed." The folder was packed with documents, school records, medical files, dental charts, work history, online accounts, bank statements, travel logs, all about me. But mixed between the files were pages I didn't recognize, surveillance photos, grainy shots of me walking, shopping, sleeping. One photo was dated yesterday. I hadn't seen anyone taking pictures. With shaking hands, I hit play on the cassette recorder. First, static. Then a calm, cold voice. Participant 014. Selection process complete. Observation phase ended. Integration begins now. Then, more static. Then, my voice. Only it wasn't a recording I recognized. I agree to the terms. The tape clicked off. I couldn't breathe. None of it made sense. How did they get this information? Who took these photos? Why did that code feel familiar? Had I agreed to something? Then I saw one final envelope tucked under the foam padding. It simply read, "Your father's application, 1985. Inside was an identical contract, with his signature. I called my mother, asked her if Dad had ever been involved in anything strange. Her silence was deafening. Then she whispered. They said it would skip a generation. She finally told me everything. Years ago, my father had joined some kind of research program when he was young. They offered him money, promised success, promised protection. But they kept collecting data on him, on us, even after he died. They called themselves the Watchers, and they had been following me my entire life. Every job, every relationship, every private moment, they cataloged it all. I checked the locker again. There was a false bottom panel. Underneath, another smaller box. Inside, a thumb drive. When I plugged it in, there was one video file, surveillance footage. Hours of it, inside my house, inside my bedroom, from angles I couldn't even explain. But one frame stood out, a close-up of me sleeping. And behind me, barely visible in the shadow, was the old man from the yard sale. The police couldn't help. The house the sale was hosted at? Vacant, abandoned for years. No record of anyone living there. No evidence left behind. The transaction? The money was withdrawn instantly and vanished. That was a year ago. I tried moving, changing banks, deleting accounts, new devices, new locks. But yesterday, I got a package at my new address. No return label, no postage, just sitting at my front door. Inside, another photograph. Me, last night, asleep. Labeled Integration Complete. Sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't what's inside the box. It's what taking the box means. Because by the time you open it, they already own you. He didn't want to sell it. He wanted me to take it. Just a dusty box by a chain-link fence at the edge of a half-empty yard sale. When I asked what was inside, he smiled and said, "Something made just for you." I should have walked away, because what was inside knew me better than I knew myself. I wasn't looking for anything. Just out for coffee, driving through the city when I saw the hand-painted yard sale sign with the address. I figured, what the hell? I'd kill 10 minutes browsing. It was a modest setup. 2 folding tables, a few bins of dusty old VHS tapes, some vintage chairs, mismatched dishes. The seller was an older man in his 60s, pale and thin, standing behind the table, watching, but not saying much. Then I noticed the box. A cardboard box, beat up, duct-taped on one side, sitting next to the fence, away from everything else. Taped to the top was a note. "Free. Take if you're the right one." I chuckled. Huh. The man looked up and said, almost too quickly, "It's for you." "I didn't even look inside," I said. "You don't have to. It's made for you." I laughed. "What if it's full of spiders?" He didn't smile. "It's not," he said. "It's personal." That gave me pause. "Wait, do we know each other?" "No," he replied, still smiling. "But it knows you." He stepped back and folded his arms. "Take it home. You'll see." I shouldn't have taken it. But I did. I put it in my trunk, drove home, dropped it on the kitchen floor. At first, I didn't even want to touch it. It smelled weird, like attic dust and plastic. I grabbed a knife and slit the tape. Inside were several objects: a leather-bound journal, a Polaroid photo, a small plastic box, a zippered pouch. I picked up the journal first. Blank. The whole thing, every page, empty, except the inside cover. There, in blue ink, was one line: "We've been watching since the 4th grade." I dropped it, checked the Polaroid. It was a photo of me, asleep, from inside my bedroom. And not recently. My bedroom had old posters I took down years ago, which meant this photo had to be at least a decade old. But I don't remember ever seeing this camera or this photo. I unzipped the pouch next. Inside, a pair of black gloves, familiar looking, and beneath them, a folded piece of paper. Your fingerprints are already on these. No need to hide them again. Finally, I opened the plastic box. It was a cassette tape and an old handheld recorder. I pressed play. There was static for a few seconds. Then breathing. And then my voice saying, "You don't deserve this. You don't deserve to be here." Then a scream, cut short, and silence. I backed away from the box. That wasn't me. I'd never said those words in my life, but it was my voice, my inflection, my anger. I felt sick. I tore through the box for anything else. In the bottom corner, I found a sealed envelope. On the front, in shaky handwriting, "To the one who opened it." Inside, a detailed timeline of my life. Schools I attended, teachers' names, the exact dates I moved apartments, even things I'd forgotten, like the time I had surgery at age 12. Each event labeled with 2 letters, W or P. I didn't know what they meant, until I saw the final line. Last event, you opened the box, label W dot, and scribbled next to it, W watched, P equals participated. I sat at my desk for hours replaying the tape, rereading the envelope, trying to remember anything. What had I participated in? Who were they? I called my mom, asked about old teachers, old addresses. She got nervous, told me to drop it, said something I'll never forget. We moved because of the letters, remember? Someone kept leaving things on the porch, dead animals, notes about you. I had no memory of that. Why didn't you ever tell me? She was quiet, then said, because they stopped once we left. I drove back to the yard sale. The house was empty, no tables, no man, nothing on the porch, just a broken lock on the front door, and a strange sign spray-painted on the back gate. Welcome participant 003. I reported it. Police said the house had been vacant for years. They checked the box contents, said there were no fingerprints but mine. I showed them the photo, the letter, the recording. They held on to the tape recorder. A week later, a detective called me. We found something, he said. I went in to meet with him. He pulled out a file. The scream on the recording, it matched audio from a 2011 unsolved murder. Same voice, same timestamp. Security footage showed someone outside that building the night it happened, wearing the exact gloves found in my box. I told them I had no memory of that night. They believed me. Sort of. They said the box may have been a threat, or a warning. I tried to move on, but last night, a new package arrived at my doorstep. Same cardboard, same tape. This one was labeled Part 2. This time you'll remember. And taped to the top, a mirror, with something written across the glass in marker, "We're still watching." The scariest thing isn't being hunted. It's realizing you may have hunted someone yourself, and you just can't remember.